Welcome back to Sodi Pop on YouTube. My name is Matt, and this is Chatty with Matty. Of course, your source for daily gaming news. Come back on Friday if you want a news recap, and of course, a little bit more in-depth coverage. And then Sodi Pop Media on pretty much every other platform. Lots going on today. Some Nintendo news. Xenoblade Chronicles is on the way out, and then of course we have some new PlayStation news coming right up. The Last of Us Part 2 is having a wonderful gameplay demo. Lots going on. Let's dive in. I hope you're having a wonderful Monday the 25th and enjoy a little bit of grilled meats on this Memorial Day, of course, while social distancing. I have my drink. Let's discuss. All right, so we're going to start off again with Xenoblade Chronicles, the definitive edition coming to Switch. Remember, that was a Wii title, was ported to the Nintendo 3DS, the new Nintendo 3DS, I should say, and then now is coming to the Switch. It was revealed the resolutions of the game in both handheld and docked mode. Handheld will be 378 by 540. I think he clarifies that later. It'll be 504 or 504 for the docked, I should say, so 504 by 720p. So of course, lower resolutions as we can expect from the Switch, but still it is a great looking game. I mean, this is a game from a couple generations ago. It wasn't the Wii U, it was the Wii, and then of course didn't look super pretty on the new 3DS, but looked serviceable, and now is coming to the Switch. Really fantastic game, reviewed super well, was really fantastic on the Wii itself. So if you're interested, please go ahead and pick it up. Now, we also have the source code for the Xbox apparently leaked. So that follows a similar Nintendo data breaches coming from Video Game Chronicle, VGC. So according to The Verge, the leak is genuine and appeared online earlier this month. It includes the kernel for the operating system of the original console custom Windows version 2000. So all the way at the bottom here, the data could in theory be used to create illegal clone hardware able to run software and operate exactly like the original systems. The PC emulation community is also theoretically use the data to improve their software so that it imitates the original system perfectly. However, since the leaked documentation has been illegally obtained, this would put them in murky territory. You know, emulation is always in murky territory. It's always nice, especially of old consoles, to have an emulated version of your disc games, since yes, they could run out, but be careful. I just thought it was really interesting to report that. Always super cool when we get more information about a system, and hopefully hackers don't go too far with this one. All right, also from VGC, Video Game Chronicles, we have Media Molecule. If you're not familiar, of course, the creators of Dreams, and then things like Sackboy and Little Big Planet, they are reportedly seeking Dream VR testers. So Dreams, if you're not familiar, is a create your own game type of format. Go ahead and look on Dreams on YouTube and you'll see some amazing games created from scratch through Dreams. It is crazy what people can do with this engine. Now they are paying participants 200 euros for testing in VR. I think this is probably the next step for Dreams. Now, if you weren't familiar, I believe it was Suhei Yoshida who said that Dreams is not seen as just a one-off event, but they want to carry the game Dreams forward for 5 to 10 years. We're seeing this as this big long project. I think that the PlayStation 5 could actually use Dreams as an amazing platform. So you remember the PlayStation 5 controller, it has that media or that create button, which takes place of the capture button on the PlayStation 4 controller. Well, that create button could be directly linked to something like Dreams and give yourself an even bigger swath of things to create with videos, Twitter videos, YouTube videos, of course, little audio clips. There's amazing things that could happen. VR is going to be the next step for this, because VR, they obviously are going to be, not obviously, but they could be releasing something new for this next generation VR with the PlayStation 5. Obviously, the SSD makes things much quicker and better. That's only going to improve the VR compatibilities. Also, we are seeing that they're taking away the big light bar from the PlayStation controller on the PS5, which was formerly used by the PS4 to have your controller in 3D space for the PlayStation VR. So we're going to see something new with this next generation PlayStation VR that will not be using the controller, or maybe they have some other type of actual way of tracking, as we've seen in different Steam VR and different compatibilities. So really cool. I think Dreams could be phenomenal in VR and actually really unlock the future of VR, because you can have all these little one-off games in VR. You know, VR PlayStations are a little bit shorter than they usually are in real games, just because you're wearing this big helmet and stuff. So super exciting. I think this is awesome. If you're interested, go ahead and sign up for this. You can get €200 out of it. Also in PlayStation news, GameSpot, PlayStation Plus free games for June 2020 start early with Call of Duty World War II. So coming this Tuesday, that's May 26th, so tomorrow, you can get Call of Duty World War II right on your PlayStation if you have PlayStation Plus. Also, the State of Play sales are going on this month, at the beginning of this month, I believe starting June 3rd. So you can get PlayStation Plus discounted for 30%, and then get Call of Duty World War II just in a few days here at the end of this week. So keep that in mind if you're interested. Call of Duty World War II was a great shooter, didn't reinvent the wheel, but was a really solid first-person shooter. I think came out in 2017. So go ahead and check that out. We are still waiting for the second PlayStation Plus game. They always have two. You know, last week was Farming Simulator and City Skylines, or last month was. So we are still waiting for the second one. It was heavily rumored to be Spider-Man. With Call of Duty World War II, usually they have one really big game. I think that will probably be the big game, so we'll see something a little bit smaller. It'd be cool if we saw Spider-Man, but I'm assuming it will be something else. And then, of course, we are to that time. I just want to thank you so much. Again, if you haven't yet, please like, follow, subscribe, click the bell down below for new video alerts if you're enjoying this content, so you can know when I go live and you can comment right on the video. I, of course, am very reactive to the comments. I'm also on Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram, so I'm available there as well. And then if you know people who would like this and you haven't, share it to them. I'd love to talk to them as well. Build this community. We're at 80 subscribers. We can get to 100. I know we can. So I'm super excited, and I want to just keep on bringing you fresh new stuff. We have a lot coming down the pipeline. Thank you. All right, moving on to some bigger news segments. This Swedish retailer did post Metroid Prime Trilogy for June 19th. That's when the Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition will be announced. Now, will Metroid Prime Trilogy come out? Well, we know it's going to come out. I think that's a given, because the Metroid Prime 4 is being worked on and released, but they had a lot of issues with the development. Actually, at the beginning of 2019, in January 2019, they announced they restarted development on Metroid Prime, putting Rare Studios back on the project. They were the original developers of the Metroid Prime Trilogy, and they stopped development with the previous studio and they said, hey Rare, you're going to be creating it. So they essentially restarted it. Remember, a few weeks ago, they actually were hiring a new designer for the game. So Metroid Prime 4 seems like a pretty long ways off. It's going to take 2-3 years at least to develop a big AAA game like that. So the earliest we'll see it is maybe end of 2021. So I would be surprised if the trilogy was releasing in a few weeks. And with a trilogy like this, I mean, they're going to want to show it off. They're going to want to say, hey, these are like the big differences. I would be very surprised if they shadow dropped a Metroid Prime Trilogy. But I wanted to show this as a post on Reddit by user Philium20. So I think this is, something cool. It would be really cool if they did drop it. I would be very surprised though. So, and then we've also seen in Nintendo news that they're not going to have like a huge direct coming up, but we are going to get trailers. That's from Jeff Grubb, coming from VentureBeat. We're going to be getting trailers of the games coming up. So obviously we have Paper Mario, we have Xenoblade Chronicles coming up, and I'm assuming we're going to be getting some remakes of other 3D Mario games, which I'm very excited about. Mortal Kombat. So, the Mortal Kombat boss talks about next-gen consoles. New way of handling loading is going to be huge. I think this isn't a surprise. We obviously know the graphics on the next-gen consoles, the Series X and the PlayStation 5, are going to be awesome. the loading in the SSDs, if you've ever installed an SSD on an old computer, the quickness is just so shocking how much quicker it is than an old hard drive. And then these SSDs are really fast M.2 drives. So for a lot of people, maybe you have an SSD in your computer, but it's a SATA drive. So it's still hooked up. It's still much slower than an M.2 drive. So it's going to be really interesting to see how quick this is. And just a little quote from him. So he says, it's funny how these new consoles come out and everybody goes, okay, what do the graphics look like? I think people are underestimating the impact that the almost zero loading time is going to have. That's suddenly going to open doors that weren't considered possible before, and I think we haven't scratched the surface of what will eventually be done with these systems. And I was chatting on some people on different forums, kind of funny, games forum and stuff. The SSD, this will allow game creators to be able to do things that they have dreamed of doing that they aren't able to do now. So it's more than just graphics. It will change the design language of games that have almost been happening for 20 plus years. So it's going to be awesome. I am super excited for that. Diving back into the article, he says, from our perspective, we're also looking out for other games that are coming out and excited about them. We're all gamers too, so everybody is kind of like, we're part of that audience. We're sitting there seeing. I was riveted watching the PS5 Unreal 5 demo and going, that can't be real. Come on, that can't be real. We're all fans of that. To me, the graphics are kind of like a given. Okay, the graphics are going to be better, but this new memory of handling memory, loading and stuff like that is going to be huge. I think we can all agree that's like going to be the major game changer from this generation to next. I think we're all expecting the PS3 to PS4 or Xbox 360 to Xbox One. The graphics look great, but to me this is bigger than a graphics getting better. Graphics are always fun. It's fun to see more shadows and how real lighting is handled, but to see, like, to save time, instant loading. One of my biggest thing in RPGs is when the menus hang up. I hate that. If that is a thing of the past, oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. All right. Suda51, a really famous game creator, creates really interesting, crazy stuff. He wants to bring his games to Nintendo Switch. So obviously you have Killer's Dead, Killer 7, Flower, Sun, and Rain remake he wants to bring to Nintendo Switch. Just going through it, quickly, this is going to really heavily rely on Capcom's involvement. They're the original producers of this, and he is the creator of the game. So I'm assuming Capcom has been really friendly as far as remakes, so I wouldn't be surprised if they were going to bring it. Remakes could be a little bit quicker to bring, and it would be awesome to have his really cool stuff. He has such a unique style of games when it comes to creation, so it would be really cool to see on the Nintendo Switch, and I'm sure they would run it pretty well. Now on to some more PlayStation news. So their days of play, I wanted to remind you, I did bring this up last week when it was announced, but the days of play are going June 3rd to 17th. I'll keep on bringing this up kind of as it goes along because I want you guys to know when it happens. So June 3rd, I did mention this earlier. Yes, the PS Plus is going on, so 12th month will be 30% off. The PlayStation Plus membership, 12-month PlayStation Now membership is also 30% off, and the 3-month PlayStation Now membership is 20% off. So the 12-month PS Plus membership, remember, you can get that Call of Duty World War II game coming on June 3rd for a pretty reasonable price, and then whatever second game they have. And you can stack those memberships, so if you are going to have PlayStation Plus for a while, get 2 or 3 of them, save the money right now. And then the PlayStation Now, of course, that is the streaming service that has done super well for Sony. They have 2.2 million users, up 1 million from 8 months prior. So really, really cool. Those are all on sale. And then you have wireless headsets going on sale. I have one myself. I do highly recommend that. They work with a docked Nintendo Switch, which is awesome wirelessly. And then you can wire them as well in case it doesn't work. And then Platinum Wireless Headset Neo 2, MLB The Show 20, Predator Hunting Grounds, Days Gone, Medieval, Blood and Truth, Everybody's Golf VR, Astrobot Rescue Mission, also with VR, and Farpoint, and The Last of Us Remastered, and other PlayStation Hits games. I'm going to be checking out, see if Second Son is on there, coming from, not Last Light, what's the game studio called? I forget. But anyways, Infamous Second Son, I'm going to check and see if that's on there. That's a game I missed early on in the PlayStation life cycle. So I'm curious to play that. You know, they're releasing Ghost of Tsushima coming up as well. And then moving on, kind of the last news of the day. So the Summer Game Fest, remember they only had 3 things happening in May. Well, they've added 2. So they had the Valorant stream, which was last week, and now they're adding The Last of Us Part 2, May 27th. So it's coming up here in a few days. They're going to do a deep dive into the gameplay like they did Ghost of Tsushima. So keep on looking at that Summer Game Fest calendar because it keeps on updating. So they've had 2 events that weren't originally on there that are on there now that are bigger things. So the Ghost of Tsushima gameplay was 18 minutes long. I'm not sure exactly how long this is going to be, but we're going to go next over here for the state of play on the PlayStation blog. They go a little bit further in depth into what it is. So hi all, we're putting the finishing touches on the new episode of State of Play that will air Wednesday, May 27th at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll of course be doing a live stream of that so we can watch together. Naughty Dog Vice President and The Last of Us Part 2 director Neil Druckmann will give a special preview of The Last of Us Part 2 coming to PS4 June 19th. Neil will walk you through the details of the gameplay, experience, and story. The current cut is clocking in around a little more than 20 minutes, ending with an extended sequence showing off about 8 minutes of never before seen gameplay. And no, there won't be any PS5 news or updates this episode, just deep dive into the world of The Last of Us Part 2. That sounds awesome. Remember, I covered the gameplay mechanics of The Last of Us Part 2. They did release something last week, so you can jump. There's a prone position, which has you crawling through tall grass. And with that, you can go underneath vehicles and hide, but they made the enemy AI smarter, so they can find you under those vehicles, drag you out. Ellie is much more nimble than Joel, so yes, she will be smaller, so it's harder for her to fight, but she can get away and use the environment to her advantage. So it sounds really awesome, really dynamic more than anything, just super dynamic. So very, very awesome. That is coming up on Wednesday. So a lot is happening this week. Of course, I will be informing you every single day because that's what I'm here to do. I'm here on YouTube every single day. Of course, I have Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram, the 3Ts and IG. And on Twitch, I'll be there Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So today, if you want to watch some Rocket League, I will be playing. I have some really cool stuff coming up for Twitch and Rocket League, so don't miss that. And then, of course, I'm very responsive on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Thank you so much. Again, I really appreciate it. If you haven't yet, subscribe, of course, share it with anybody who would be interested. Trying to get up to 100 subscribers helps the channel so much, lets me know that I'm doing something right, and we have way more improvements coming to Sodi Pop as well. My name is Matt. Have a wonderful day. Remember,
Be yourself
and eat a cookie. Bye.